Prior to joining Mike Reeder at Precision Plush, Barry was a high school principal, math teacher, and PLTW instructor. Barry has taught every math class from algebra concepts to AP Calculus, AB and BC, as well as AP Statistics. He has also served as an adjunct math instructor for Gateway Technical College and Aurora University. He's a certified instructor for PLTW courses, Introduction to Engineering Design, and Engineering Design and Development. Barry's responsibilities at Precision Plus include organizing and delivering all training programs at Precision Plus, facilitate the summer internship program, facilitate the school term youth apprenticeship program, and all related school outreach. The outreach activities include classroom visits, career fairs, field trips, student and staff tours, serving on 4 high school career and technical education committees, including Elkhorn, Delavan, Whitewater, and Beloit Memorial, as well as the Black Hawk Technical College Committee. Barry is also teaching the EDD course to students at Elkhorn High School, where the students will travel to Precision Plush.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Barry Butters, and I'm the Director of Education and Training at Precision Plus. And when I heard my bio read, I thought, boy, that's an awful lot for a new guy, right? So I've been in this industry about 1.5 years, and I realized maybe I don't have as much to add at this point in time. But I also was sitting over there trying to decide which nostril I should be breathing out of and stretching before I jump up here. But I'm also a bit distracted because the last session was just phenomenal. I took away a whole bunch of new ideas to deal with our training and our training matrix. So here's our company, Precision Plus, located in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. We have about 65 employees total, operating 2 shifts. And I do a lot of talking out to schools, and I talk about the problem we have. And we're in the process of expansion, and we're looking at adding about 70,000 square feet, more than doubling our size, which means we'll probably have to add about 25 new employees in very short order. So no pressure on me, right? So I quite often also talk about the problem that we have, this perception issue to deal with young people in manufacturing, particular parents, and telling their children, hey, you don't want to do that. So I go out and talk about what it used to be and what it is today, what it used to be and what it is today, where we need people who can program and operate machines that do the work that used to be done by people. So here's a shot of our mezzanine back in the year 2000, 70 CAM machines on the floor. And now we're running 27 CNC Swiss and 6 Miano turret lathes, in addition to keeping some of the technology on the floor from the CAM machines. So we're looking at a skill set that's different than what we were getting from the school system. You know, hey, let's send Johnny, who doesn't do very well in school. Manufacturing must be for you. Why don't you go over and apply at a manufacturing company? And the kid doesn't have the math skills or any of the soft skills necessary to actually make it in our plant. Mike Reeder was infuriated after he saw the 60-minute episode with Peter Capelli, and he basically said, yeah, it used to be that manufacturers did all their training. And we've got away from that model a bit, and now they're screaming and crying, hey, the schools need to help us out here, and you know, the taxpayers should be flipping the bill for all this schooling. And it turns out, you know, instead of just crying foul and being angry about the situation, Mike decided to get involved. You know, he quite often talks about the return on investment of my position. A company of 65 employees has a director of education, where much of my time is running around the countryside talking to young people. The question then becomes, you know, what's the return on investment of doing nothing? And he knows what that return is. So he looks at it as my job is to go out and be the face in the community, making the connections with the people, and try to become the premier employer in our county. So this is our universal playbook for engaging the school systems and trying to do outreach. This PowerPoint is actually on our website. At the end there's a QR code that you can use your phone to capture, but I would recommend that you do it at a later time, because I just figured out that our Our website is not mobile ready. As well as the test on the speed was kind of a disastrous, epic fail as well. Anyways, this is available. You can peruse this at home and look through these steps. As often already stated, you have to get involved with the schools. And one of the reasons Mike hired me from a guy from outside the industry is that I have the education contact. So in Walworth County, I could probably tell you the tech ed teacher, the career technical education person, as well as the assistant principal, principal, superintendent, have a working relationship with almost everybody in the county, as well as some schools outside the county. So I have the unique ability to pick up the phone, and those people take my call because they know who I am. Whereas you reach out as a manufacturer trying to get a hold of somebody, sometimes they're not, who's some manufacturer called, well, I'm not calling them back. So we've had up to 90 teachers already through the plant. It's imperative that not only you get the counselors, so we just had our career coaches from the career technical education group from Gateway Technical College through. And every time it's the same thing. They're like, wow, I can't begin to tell you, I had no idea what was involved in your manufacturing. So we've had 90 of those people come through. We have had these career panels. Actually, Mike started this before he hired me, and this was kind of the impetus of having me on board, because after the very first career panel, we had some kids that talked to him. This gentleman right there, this one back there, this one you can't see very well. But they came up to Mike after this career panel. We had a bunch of kids come in, and he had some speakers talk to the kids about manufacturing. And they said, hey, I'm really interested in what you do. Do you have an internship program? And Mike said, why, yes, we do. Used to be, put him on a deburring station and just beat him to death all summer long, but it turns out that he had something else in mind. So that's about the time he hired me to come in and start really engaging these young people into all facets of the company. The second annual one, we had Brian White. He should look tired because he just had the president come through his plant where they tap his phone and his house phone, and they're all over his house and his personal business and stuff. So we had we always have a woman speaker at the event. Here's Hanan Fishman, part maker. He's been a great supporter of our efforts. In fact, he's donated some software to our lab to help us in the process. I'll add this last year, we toned it down a bit. We tried to get more schools involved, but more targeted group, so there's more interest instead of some of the kids who just wanted to get out of school. There's hiring me. I guess the question becomes can you task somebody in your company with this effort? And I'm guessing that sometimes it takes more than one person, that just not one person does it. I'm guessing that you have 2 or 3 people take different sort of positions. I guess Mike has just always felt that the people on the floor are busy what they're supposed to be doing, and decided to have me come in to do it instead. So we do offer summer internships and school year apprenticeships. So the big question is what's the difference between the two? So our apprenticeship program, I'm sorry, let me start with the internship program. The internship program, these individuals usually are going to be going off to mechanical engineering school. We had 10 the first year. We had 3 apprenticeship students the first year. This last year we had a total of 19 interns during the summertime. My production supervisor thought my first name was a swear word, basically. Every time he saw me, blanking Butters, where is this kid supposed to be and who is that? So we had 19 young people running around the plant floor. We had 2 valedictorians. My guess is that the average ACT score of this group was probably around a 30. Amazing group of young people in several different facets. They were shown something once, they captured it. Very bright, energetic young people. We had great soft skills out of them. We talk about attitude and aptitude. And then the apprenticeship program is a little bit different. So the apprenticeship program, we try to target a student who's about on the 75th percentile of their class. The connecting course we try to link is the Autodesk Inventor class, or software that's done in the Introduction to Engineering Design class, or Project Lead the Way class. They have to have had at least 3 years of math to understand the trig. We require that they are either in chemistry, physics, or a combination of the two. And these are the type of kids that we're going to offer full-time employment to. These are the type of kids, when we vet out their predictive index, we look to see if it's going to be a fit for us, because our intention is to hire these kids on full-time. The other students, the kids back here in the internship program, you know, we're providing them a unique experience that they can put on their resume. I've run a Tsugami SS machine all summer long, made my own tool changes. You know, for an engineer to put that on their resume, go out and find a job with real-world experience is great for them. And who knows, down the line, when they're involved in some project, they need a particular part, they're like, hey, I know somebody who can make this. That they'll start talking to the companies that they work for about Precision Plus. And hopefully finally remember their experience with us. So what do we do with them? We took a page, kind of from Dan, is that we put them through everything. They learn every facet of the organization. We have them in finishing. We have them in secondary. We have them in shipping. Put them spinning chips. Now there is some caveats here. You can't operate the boom or operate the forklift unless you're 18 years of age. So, and some of you might have some specific questions about your state. There's two points to that issue. Is one, what is the law about having somebody under the age of 16 on your floor in your state? And two, is your insurance going to be okay with this? So you got two questions that you have to have answered there. They have to go through quality, though, before we put them out into production. So some of the things I've developed since I've been there is a check-off on using the profilometer, check-off on how to do any particular pieces of equipment in there that, you know, we got this kid here touching off on the CMM. It was a $350 stylus. It turns out that the kids on the joysticks are probably better than most of the older people in the plant. I haven't quite figured out why, but they're really good at the joysticks. But they have to go through quality where there's nice, quiet environment. They're practicing miking, pitch mics, you know, every type of mic under the sun. They're using the optical comparator. They're getting shown they can ask questions. It's a nice, quiet environment. And then we roll them out into production. And we found out that we always should start them on the Turnos platform. It's a platform where they can see the chip formation. They can understand what's going on with the cutting process. From the Turnos platform, we usually push them out on the Swiss side. So here's a kid, John Stoppel is valedictorian of his class. This is his second year with us at this point in time. He's making his own tool changes, his own offsets. He comes in the morning, collects the stuff, goes right to work on the machine. This young man is at Purdue University. His name is Martin. He's from Williams Bay. He's running a part that had to be serialized. Let him get on the machine and put some tooling in. Let him feel the tension on the guide bushing, the setup stuff. This is my favorite shot right here. So here's a kid who's number 8 in his class. He's at UW-Madison right now in the engineering program. And he's looking at that tooling sheet. There's Ryan Noon right there making sure that when he's going to hit input plus, that it's the right tool, right turret, right direction, and the right amount. Not fat finger the controller and jack up the machine. And to date, we have had no significant injuries or any sort of problems with the machines with any of the interns there. But we also make them do all the stuff with the machine. You talked about those kids, you know, the millennials, like, I don't do that, right? Now, we try to instill in them, and our best efforts to instill in them that you do everything here. Everybody takes a turn. I did this activity, I guess it was my second or third week. Sam's in the room. Sam took great pride in sticking his head around the corner and watching the chip down in my armpit, and I'm down there cleaning out the machine. You have to earn your bones, is what we tell them. So one of the other things we do with this, and this kind of fits the millennial model, these kids like to be challenged. They like to be out and doing different things. So we took them on some field trips. These kids are on the clock. They pile into my van, and we take them out to a couple different schools. We went to Snap-on Tools. Bob found the handle that he was running all summer. We took them to Scott Forge, no pictures inside that. What a cool experience for them to see an entirely different manufacturing process than what they're doing. The guys from Scott Forge have come through our place, and we go through theirs, and you know, how do you hold on to this part with, you know, tweezers? How do you hold on to this thing? They crawl inside their stuff to measure it. It's an amazing place. Open your doors to students. Let me quick comment on this. Well, I didn't picked this up just about 6 months ago. When you do these student tours, it's probably really important to have the beginning slides to talk about safety of your shop, where the eye wash station is. Make sure you cover those things that are important with them on the footwear and the safety glasses. Make sure you go through that stuff before you take them out on the floor. But we've had National Manufacturer Day, 3 schools, 90 students in 2013. Grew to 5 schools, 160 students in 2014. And we try to involve everybody in the plant to get everybody involved engaging these young people. We've also found it important that we try to get the community to understand what's going on behind our doors. So we do this open house for the adults during the National Manufacturing Week. There's Bill Wells taking the school board president of Delavan Darien School District and the school board member of Elkhorn School District. So we try to get the key players involved in the various schools to come in and see what we do in our shop. Here's a training classroom. This is Roger Orban. Roger is in charge of a bunch of things at Autodesk. But we invited him down and tried to tell him what we're doing. We were able to get the Autodesk Inventor software donated to our classroom. All 8 machines have a seat of it. Even though we're not a degree granting institution, we're able to convince him what we're trying to do. This is also Steve. Steve is the Project Lead the Way affiliate director at MSOE at that point. He's since left there, but we're a Project Lead the Way site. I'm not sure how many companies actually have a class going on inside their 4 walls to engage students. They actually come to me instead of me going to them. It's a shot of our classroom. I guess one thing we learned after there's a Brad Pearson story coming up. We had a student who came through as one of our first apprenticeship students, and he decided that this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to go to tech college and become a machinist. And his parents thought, well, you're going to go do this business degree at Whitewater. He said, I don't want to do that, I want to do this. So finally we had to come to Jesus' meeting with them, and they came through the plant and they saw what he was doing, the technical stuff he was getting accomplished for us. And they had a change of heart, and they were overwhelmed with his interest, and they thought this is an absolutely great idea. Since that time, we will not take any student into our plant until the parents come through and see that their kid is safe, and that it's not dark, dirty, and dangerous, and they have some understanding when the kids come home what they are talking about their experiences inside the shop. I love this shot as well. We had the open house, and we actually had Kyle Gorse, as one of our current apprenticeship students from Elkhorn High School, take his parents around and show them what he does. So there's Brad Pearson. This is the kid I was just talking about. So I regularly visit, as many of the other companies here do, go to the Career Technical Education Committee meetings, and you're inside these places and you get to talk to the instructor, you develop relationships. So when you have an opening, you pick up the phone and call, hey Rich, over at Black Hawk Technical College, I'm looking for somebody who's coming out right now. Can you put this up on your bulletin board if I email it to you? You can announce it to your classes. Those relationships are crucial. But that young man is at Black Hawk, and Mike is supporting his education currently. This is some shots of me running around the countryside. I'm going to talk to a lot of these. I spend a lot of time doing this. And it's, I'm not sure what the return on investment is going to be. This is a shot of a school that I visited. Anybody heard about Cardinal Manufacturing? This guy was at the IMTS. He had a booth and he talked to me. He's running a machine shop, this guy right here, inside his high school. Very small school. And he's got his 2 seniors who are the production supervisors. He's got kids tasked with modeling the parts. They have 2 CNC machines. They're running a production for profit. They're turning a cribbage board and something else inside their shop. Amazing situation. I went up there to their open house, a 3.5-hour drive one way. Tells you the combination between the open house and the CNC side, and it was their mounting. They had a mounting competition, so all the dead deer were mounted inside. This is pretty cool. But I had a chance to talk to this man's principal and said, you better do what you have to keep this guy, because a lot of schools are looking for just that guy right there. I've changed recently. Instead of going to all those high schools, here's some shots of some elementary schools. You talk about getting some kids excited, and I pass out the material and talk a little bit about the difference between brass and stainless and cold rolled and aluminum, and they get to hold that stuff. You know, is this gold? No, I just told you, honey, that's not gold, that's brass. But they get excited. I mean, yeah, so I do this little activity. I say, let's see who can follow directions. Let's see who's a good machinist. So I play a little Simon Says, kind of an offshoot of it. But you can't imagine how excited these kids get about holding stuff that's made. And hopefully we're planting the seed early enough that it'll take root and eventually these kids will be out in manufacturing. I love this shot as well. This is a thing that they have at Beloit Memorial High School, career fair. So here's an adult kid, or a high school kid. These kids were probably freshmen, sophomore. They had middle school kids come through, and then they had these elementary kids come through. I had a shot of the part that we make on the Miano out of brass, and we turn the oil off, and there's some video of the part being manufactured. I could not get rid of this kid. His group left. I'm looking for the teacher. Yeah, you missing one. This kid, I could not get rid of him. He was so enthralled with the manufacturing process. There's Belvedere High School, real fair. I just traipsed around the countryside. Support those things. First robotics. Mike always makes sure, though, that if he's going to support something for a school, those kids have to come to the shop. They have to come and pitch him. He doesn't want the teachers reaching out to him. He wants those kids to come in and pitch him. He belongs to the rapid prototyping lab. We actually had a school request some time on the rapid prototyping machines for their first robotics project, and Mike was gracious and donated his time to that. This is a high school, by the way. This is Beloit Memorial High School. They have 12 CNC brand new Haas machines. Inside the classroom, they got a controller for each one of those, and they bought some additional ones. They have 16 controllers sitting on a desk. Here's the problem, though. They had a guy from industry, because they knew that they couldn't find a tech ed teacher who would probably step right into that level. So they had a guy from industry coming in to teach. And he wanted some more time, so after 6 weeks to start school year, he really hadn't started yet. And then he panicked and decided, I can't do this, I can't teach. I can't, because the difference between dealing with bar stock, right? You got bar stock come into your shop, and the bar stock's not good, you ship it back, right? Well, the kids come into your classroom, and some of them are not the best quality bar stock in the room, but you can't send them back. They're there. This is what you have to work with. So it took them some time. They actually hired an instructor named Chris Klatt, and Chris didn't get a lot of chips in the machine the first year, but he went off and did a externship with a tool and die guy with some Haas machines, and he came back and was able to really get things up and running this last school year. Again, we support all sorts of functions, taking the people around. We took 3 busloads of kids down to IMTS. I was exhausted because we try to hit every building when we're there. We got these kids on the bus at 6 o'clock in the morning. We didn't return them back to the school until 8 o'clock at night. And sure enough, every time the kids always found the Haas booth. Go figure why. And then we're like, come on guys, we gotta go. Yeah, we'll be there in a minute. So, but we gave them a little freedom. I mean, they were absolutely amazed by the technology stuff down there. So here's 2 schools following me from one venue to the other. There's a 3D printed car from the year before. So it was exciting. It was a good time. This is some shots of the class that meets at my school. That they're developing a pen that would probably be really beneficial for all of you right now. The pen, if you're in class and you're falling asleep and you're not moving the pen very much and it sits still too long, it'll start to vibrate to try to wake you back up. That's their project that they're working on. They've also found that there's some scents that they're going to put like a lip balm on the top of the pen, that if peppermint, apparently spearmint, those scents keep you up. Lavender would be bad, that puts you down. Here's a shot. Here's Mike at one of the, and I can't do all this by myself. So Mike quite often we have 2 different CTE meetings going on. Mike Reed will go to one of the 2 or help me out the best he can. Get to your technical colleges, as has been said, and get inside those classrooms with those teachers and develop those relationships. And anybody here on the group that gets out and talks to the political side, Mike Mike is a pretty strong Republican supporter, but there's Senator Tammy Baldwin in our state, completely the other side of the aisle. But he called her in because if you can't find common ground to talk about workforce issues, what can you find time with? And there's some people in the room that are in this picture. Find where's Waldo? There is one right there. So we had Paul Ryan most recently come in, but the PMPA does some lobbying, and anybody want to speak to that in the room about trying to get some support? Anybody? Probably the wrong venue for that, but all right. And there's the QR code that please don't use right now because our website's not mobile friendly. So anybody have some questions for me? I realize I'm the last speaker between you and your cold beverage of choice. Yes?
You're doing your rotation with your intern?
Yes.
How long do they spend in each area?
So it's about a week and a half, depending on what rotation is. What we do is we front load the secondary and finishing and shipping. I use that to get the first group out through quality. So the kids who get through quality and out on the machining platform first have to come back through on this. And when they hit, secondary department the last week that they're there, it's a true test of their ability to focus at that point in time, because then they're deburring on the bench or something like that. But they do it. Everyone has a turn.
You call that an apprenticeship. How long does that last?
So the summer internship is just start of into May till August when they go back to school. The youth apprenticeship program starts the week before school begins for them with training with me on Saturdays, and then it lasts the entire school year. Most of the kids, we try to get them to come in the morning if at all possible. And they work from about 6:15 till about 10, they go back to school. And then the kids who come in the afternoon are right about 11:30 and they stay until 3 or later in some cases. Some of those kids stay and do some more work for us. That's all school year. And then we make a decision at the end of that. If they have the right PI and they have the right work ethic, that we'll offer them full-time employment. Any other questions? I know people have got to be getting thirsty.
Any non-youths apprenticeship?
Well, the next thing that I'm hoping to get accomplished is that we're going to try to change our youth apprenticeship model and roll it into adult apprenticeship, which is going to require a fair amount of work to have all your processes verified by testing and those things that Dan talked about last session. So I have probably 5 or 6 young guys, mostly military guys, that are ideal candidates for that. The trouble with that is usually going to be a 4-day at your place, 1 full day at a technical college in seat. Our technical college has now got the ability to offer those things right at our Elkhorn campus, which happens to be about 1.5 miles away from us. So it's going to be an ideal model. It's just going to happen this coming fall that they're moving CNC training to our Elkhorn campus. Good question. Anybody else have a question?
No. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time and listening to the new guy.